All right, welcome everyone. FarmerCop here with
MrSealyp.
and we are going to go over some of the changes and improvements, and there's a couple of new additions, I guess, as well here with the Giants changelog for update 1.10.0.0.0. There's changes, improvements to the game, new machines and items. There's also some update to precision farming. Plains and Prairies?
Plains and Prairies, there's some updates to that as well, yep.
Okay, so there's a few different things. I will be honest, it's nothing that exciting or that special. I'll also note a couple things. I'm just going to have a brief tangent here. So obviously we're traveling, for one. That's why we're in this environment. I'm here with MrSealyp. We just had FarmCon this last weekend, so we're recording this in our hotel room here in. Oh gosh, I'm not even trying to pronounce any of the towns that we're in, but we're up on the German-Polish border. It's beautiful here, so we're just here kind of on vacation, but we wanted to get a video out for you guys. The other thing I will note as well, they don't have a blog for us. So I don't have a blog to share.
No, they normally send it out and we haven't been sent anything, so we've literally just got the changelog to go on. So
yep, we just have the changelog to go on and the embargo, which is in a couple hours. So want to get a video out. Again, it's nothing too exciting. I don't know why they didn't just push the update until next week when they could actually have all their stuff ready, but they said because of FarmCon, they didn't have enough time because their teams were busy with FarmCon to get everything ready that they wanted to. So it is what it is. But anyhow, all right, we'll just kind of switch back and forth talking about some different things. Do you want to go over some of the changes and improvements?
We can do off the start.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've split this into different sections then. So we're starting off, we've got the patch notes for the main game, and then it goes on to precision farming and then plains and prairies. So those are the categories we're going to be looking at, I suppose. Changes and improvements. Some of it is more, we always start with the stability issue. So there's changes to improve performance and stability. Prevent crashes, those sort of things. One here says adjusted wheel physics synchronization in multiplayer. So if you've been having problems with that, apparently it's been fixed. We are also going to preface this by saying, if this breaks anything, because we often find we get lots of things that get fixed, and in the fixes other things might get broken. We cannot guarantee that nothing will be broken after this, but these are the things that are saying have been fixed. Changed wetness behavior to be based on in-game time instead of real time. So I suppose if you're speeding up time, if you're running on ×5 or whatever, it's going to be happening more frequently than if you were.
I'm wondering because I've kind of noticed something, because I'll speed up time, and like the rain and twisters and those sorts of things will go faster with time. But I'm assuming that this is like drying, like things drying and returning to normal.
That makes sense, I suppose.
Because if you speed up time really fast, what I noticed is if it had rained sometime in that, you would stop time even though it was a couple months later. If I was speeding up time like really fast on a PC, and you'd stop a couple months later, it would still be wet, even though it hadn't rained in months technically. So I'm assuming that instead of real, I'm assuming that's what they mean, but maybe there's other things too.
And obviously some of these are going to be PC related only, not console as well, which is the thing. When you read through these changelogs, it's not always clear which it's for. And again, it's going to be, if you haven't experienced any of these issues of the things that are being fixed, that's wonderful, that's great. But if you have, it might be relevant to you. Improved foliage alignment for various crops. Now, we don't generally or all the time have multi-terrain angle on console.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know.
No, it's not very clear. Improved Prinoth SF900 stump cutter behaviour. It wasn't behaving before, apparently it is now. Whatever. Improved steering assist behaviour. That's got to be for AI and GPS and stuff.
Yeah, so steering it. Yeah, so hopefully that's a little bit better then. And also I want to know, because I'm just going to get ahead of this comment now that it came to mind. No, we do not have access to the patch, so we can't show you in-game because we don't. This is what they've given us. That's it. Yeah. It just is what it is. So, yep. Anyhow, I'll do a couple here for you to give you a little break. Fixed edition multiplayer where tension belts caused some pallets to visibly jitter, so no more jittering pallets.
We did say this because I'm experiencing that on single player. I know for any of you, if you put in logs onto trailers and pallets onto trailers, you get more than a certain amount, and they will shift and move around. It's saying multiplayer. Whether that will change single player or not, but maybe we won't have as many jittery pallets.
Yeah, hopefully the pallets they've had less coffee. So, fixed compass orientation, fixed display of which I don't know how that was wrong, but let's just move past it to fixed display of weather forecast. So weather forecast should be fixed. It says with manually set season visuals, so that's good. Fixed arrow when resetting the tree sapling planter after emptying. Okay, if you have that issue, it should be fixed. Fixed ground deformation bumps caused by sudden firmness changes, as in like over straw swaths or mowed grass is what it says. Fixed hail damage to be damage being applied to cultivated fields. This one's a big one. Yeah. So if it hailed while you had a field cultivated and then crops grew where you planted, even though you planted after the fact, you would still have parts of your field missing from hail damage. So you shouldn't have that anymore, which that was a big one that needed to be fixed. Fixed incorrectly sized dual wheel connectors. Fixed issue where fences could be sold without proper permissions. I wish they hadn't fixed that.
Yeah, that's quite handy on some maps and some situations where if you don't own the land and you want to get rid of the fences, you could. Yeah. Apparently, not anymore.
Yep, they apparently were not a fan of that. So that is, yep, that was, you may not remove fences.
They always change the good stuff.
I know, they always,
yeah. The good stuff, I don't know
why. Fixed synchronization of combine fill level in multiplayer. So if you have that issue, it's fixed. Fixed synchronization of fences in multiplayer when placed or changed ground height. Fixed terrain deformation issues when snow is removed. I didn't know any issues about those, but if you had them, they fixed them. And now, what's our next topic here?
New machines and items.
There you go.
And if you've been watching any of my videos on this kind of topic, you know how I feel about this, ladies and gentlemen. When it says new, and again, now, we haven't got images, we haven't got a full blog that we would normally have. As far as I'm aware, looking down the list, this is stuff that we had in FS22. You know, they're doing the whole, we're giving you some new content, some fresh content. This is stuff that wasn't in the base game for 25, and they're kind of implementing it as we go along. So we have got, I'm going to put the two together. We've got the Fendt Rotana 160V Combi Round Baler and the Massey Ferguson RB 4160V ProTech Round Baler. I think they are the same baler but with different skins as far as I recall from the previous version of the game. JCB Series 54770 Agri Pro Telehandler. Again, we had this conversation. And J-Bot's here as well, and we said that's Ross End Mods has been. We've got these already, but you know, if you want a Giants version, we get one. The Pertinger Terradisc 1001. 10,001.
That's got to be a typo, you think?
No, they do. They do 10,001 T cultivator. So again, if cultivators are your thing, I know it's probably not a 3 meter, but I don't know. Why we need more 3 meter cultivators. And the Unia Ares XL disc harrow. So if you're a big fan of any of those things, they're coming.
Yep, they are coming. Yes. You'll be very excited today if you wanted those things. Then we have new additions and functionalities. Added support for XCSS2 with frame generation. That's fancy PC nonsense. I don't even know what it means, and I play on PC. Added work direction setting for helper options. This is an important one. Why don't you talk about this one?
This was, we talked about this earlier. Now, as far as we're aware, again, we haven't been able to test this in any way, shape or form, but with GPS on, you've got your AI worker setting or you've got your own setting for GPS. For your own setting, if you're going to do it yourself, we have got the option to change the orientation when it gives you your lines on your GPS. As far as I recall, and again, without having the console to check it, on the AI one, it just comes up set. I don't think you can change it usually for AI. It's just if you're doing it yourself. According to this, added work direction setting for helper operations. So if you're going to hire a worker, in that little menu, you should then be able to change the orientation, the direction the AI worker will work if for some particular reason you're not happy about the direction it's giving you automatically, I think.
Yep. Yeah. And then there is the little info thing that it has with all the updates that says, as with all major updates to Farming Simulator, you may experience stuttering on the first game watch after the update when using mods or custom graphic settings due to shaders being recompiled. All you have to do is go in build mode if you're on console and just move around the map really fast, or PC, go in build mode or flight mode and just fly around the map. You get some stuttering, but what it does is refills that shader cache. That's not an issue, that's not a bug, that happens every time, that's very normal. There's no way to avoid that, it has to refill that cache. So that will happen. And then we have Precision Farming 1.2.0.0. Changes and improvements. Hopefully, they have a few things listed here, and I think some of the big things hopefully have been fixed, but I guarantee it's still not perfect yet. I would guarantee that, because there's not as many things listed as there are issues with precision farming. But it says added proper reset of nitrogen map, pH map, and statistics when buying and selling fields. That's good. Disabled higher application rate while driving too slow on modern sprayers, slurry tankers, and manure spreaders. Now only on sprayers with PWM and old sprayers. So if you have pulse width modulation and old spreaders, they will apparently still do that. Interesting. Fixed calculation of fertilizer usage depending on the current circumstances. Fixed display of individual scoring components of the environmental score. Fix the effects of the Hardy Mega Sprayer. Fixed harvest mission progress on fields that had weeds. That one's important, so you should be able to do your harvesting contracts again. Fixed section control not working correctly and turning on random sections. fix several minor issues related to spraying and nitrogen level detection on fields. So hopefully it's just a lot better. I know I had a lot of issues with liming and fertilizing or adding, nitrogen to fields. It says fixed synchronization of spread pattern and application rate settings on dedicated servers. Great. If you play it on a server with precision farming, hopefully it's a little bit better for you. And then finally, fixed yield calculations on potatoes and sugar beets. So hopefully that's better as well. Do you have anything you want to mention about those?
To be fair, it's the same as it always is. And unless you've done a real deep dive into this and you've done a lot of testing and keeping notes on everything, when all these things get updated and changed, will it be a visible thing? Will it be something you can actually tangibly see? Probably not, but they should be fixed. So yeah, and some of these are going to affect your yields. So it's that thing of if you were finding your yields were low for whatever reason, especially that weed one. Yeah. If you've got a contract and some people were taking the stuff to delivering it all and not having enough because the weeds had given them a deficit, that sort of thing should have been adjusted. But most of this is kind of background stuff that you're not going to notice, but it will have an impact. I think. Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. And then finally, Plains and Prairies. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Plains and Prairies update. I know this was another one we said it was kind of, I suppose it wasn't as big as everyone thought it was going to be. Yeah. It was mainly vehicles and equipment machinery, but some cool stuff in there. But it did have some issues. And according to this, they have been sorted. So changes and improvements, various visual adjustments on several models, improved shifting behaviour on several models with manual gear shifters. Now, we said it was the Big Roy was one of them, wasn't it? Yep. Real sluggish, heavy, and it took a while to get out of that first gear. It would kind of sit and sit and sit, then boom, it would suddenly go. That's been fixed.
Yeah, it kind of made it seem like if it was pulling a heavy implement that it didn't have the horsepower to pull it, which we know that thing has a ridiculous amount of horsepower.
Yeah, I think it was just the gearbox not shifting when it needed to. Yeah. Adjusted and fixed some incompatible mission vehicle combinations. So again, I think the game was generating mission equipment for missions, and it was giving you stuff that just wouldn't work with the other bits of equipment they're giving you. So it was that, frustrating, as we all know. Fixed compatibility with unlimited color configurations modded. This is a big one. So when this came out, I think most of us that made content on it said the same thing. If you had that mod installed, and I think we tried to make it clear, uninstall it if you're going to be using the Plains and Prairies. Because if you clicked on certain options of vehicles, it took all the decals off the vehicle. So you've got a colour scheme, but no decals, or you've got completely the wrong colour scheme. So if you uninstalled that unlimited colour configurations, it was fine. Apparently that is now fixed. So if you want to turn your unlimited colour configuration back on, that's the Giants mod, that should now work. That should all be fixed. Fixed display working width on Fendt Rogator 900 NL720. Yep, that's fixed. The display for that.
There it is.
Fixed visibility issues with Delta tracks in some cases. Now this again was people were buying the vehicle or going into the store menu to buy the vehicle, clicking on an option, it would show the hub and the axle, but not the tracks. They were just missing. So as far as we're aware, that's what that means. Fixed visibility issues with Delta tracks. Yeah.
Yep, and that is that's it. That's the changelog. So yep, that is what it is. Yeah. If you're still having issues with things or it has broken things, which I'm sure it'll have broken something. So if it hasn't, I'd be shocked. But if you have issues with anything, just report it to Giants. I'll leave a link down below in the description. And MrSealyp here will do the same. We'll have a link down there for you guys to be able to report any new issues you have to Giants. Please report them, because if you don't report them, even if it is frustrating and even if it is still happening or it's a different issue, please report it. I know it's frustrating. And the other thing I'll say too as well with Plains and Prairies, any other DLCs, the Year 1 Season Pass, the game itself, there's the Highlands edition that's out now, or available for pre-order, not out now, sorry. Available for pre-order now. If you want to get a PC version of that, you can use either my code down below in my description or code FarmerCop at checkout, or you can check out MrSealyp and you can use code MrSealyp at checkout, or use the links down below in his description. But yeah, I think that's what we got for you, everyone.
That's it, just a bit of information sharing. It was sent to us. We want to just get it out there to all you guys. And like I say, if any of these things have affected you and have now been fixed, awesome.
Yep. Yeah. And if any of these things have affected you negatively, not so awesome. But it happens sometimes, so please report it to Giants. But anyhow, if you guys enjoyed, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to both our channels, both MrSealyp and myself, FarmerCop. And make sure you guys turn on your notification bell so you stay tuned to everything happening on both of our channels. And yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do a couple other videos together while we're here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching.